back with another video. And so so I made a reference on some. This is part of a series where I'm having the same outfit for just for context, but I'm gonna keep running with the idea. Is that so I've referenced in another video about how distracting it can be, like when animals make noises. Like an example is today. So I get fancier and fancier, like with the things that I wear, and a lot of it is real. So like all things are like a process, like even style. So it actually it takes up one of the things that's really kind of like a little bit maybe disingenuous is like when we have different like strides, like maybe in our appearance or like what we do in life or what like different things we do. Sometimes when people say that you do something that they like what you do, but it might seem like, okay, so having a style is as simple as just picking to have a style. And so but choice is part of it, but it actually takes like a part of a story to have a style, because all the ideas that you have for style, they can't occur to you in one moment, in one go. And even as they occur to you, that's a function of your real story. Like what would even put you in a place to have an idea, or have give you a background to have an idea about one thing or the other. So you really can't take a person's style away from their story, or anything that they are or are good at away from their story. So to think that because another person has something going for them, that we are entitled or can have exactly what they have as they have it right now, it's a little bit affronting, because it throws off like the actual story of like what it took to get there. But a lot of the best things are really incremental. That's what my guitar teacher taught me. One of the best things he taught me, because back then I was living with family, and it was very painful to live in such close quarters, even with people you love, because it's just as human beings, we something about us that we need a certain degree of space that is privacy and autonomy. That it really has a lot to do with, because we need to exercise choice to feel really healthy and vital. They've said like Maslow's hierarchies of needs, but I think would be maybe a deeper need, and then through all the needs is choice is one of the deepest needs. Is to have a sense of choice is really important. Even if you were on hard times and you had to eat what you had to eat to live, what maybe one of the most brutal things about being on hard times is not only the deprivation or the type of maybe the low quality of food sources, but the low quality of choices is what's so brutal about being on being destitute. To not have choice is very difficult, and that's experienced a lot in living in close quarters. Um, but then when I was expressing to my guitar teacher that I'd like to get into independence, because he had it was very beautiful taking lessons with him, because he had a very clean minimalist apartment with hardwood floors, where he devoted a lot of attention, but it was so open that there was so much possibility there, and it was so alive. His humble it was kind of like it had a very cool aesthetic, just kind of like just very minimal but efficient living quarters, or living how or a living situation in the middle of a big city, like high up in an apartment building. And like there's these really steep stairs, and it was actually a workout going up to his apartment every time. And if I'd act tired, he's like, "Yeah, man, you need to be working out, and actually the exercise is more important than the guitar." He's like, "This guitar is cool, but the exercise is more important, and I'd almost be more concerned about you exercising than playing guitar." He was like that, but um, but but actually just seeing the example of him as a man, his way of living, it it therefore his way of approaching guitar, but his way of being a man and a person, it was outstanding, and it allowed me to see what's possible, and it actually happened for me a lot. Not entirely linear and directly, but a lot of it was directly and indirectly from that example. And I expressed to him back then that I had the idea to be independent, and I was able to become independent within about 8 months of meeting him, and about 4 months of expressing that to him. And it would seem daunting and almost impossible to me myself at that time, even though I had done a lot of working and even professional roles. But until you've done something, you can't really truly appreciate that it's possible for you. And so he had a lot of faith and respect in taking me seriously when I said that, because it might sound like a little bit of a stretch even for an adult, coherent, sober person. And I was actually sobering up around that time. The latter 4 months with him, I was actually getting sober, and a lot changed by getting sober. That probably be even more significant than anything was just getting sober. But he was saying that anything that I do is going to be incremental, the guitar included, and becoming independent. Is that he wasn't asking me to take a big leap. He was asking me to do things incrementally, a little bit better, just by degrees. And that's actually how I approach practicing and writing, because a lot of times, like I said in the first video of the series, I'll take the guitar with me anywhere I go, and I'll do just very incremental improvements or ideas each time I pick it up. So I might just, it is very incremental what conceives, what transpires, but it can get on to be, go from a few seconds to 40 minutes of playing by doing increments like that. Um, but um, but it was the same with getting into a better living situation. But I actually lost a little bit of the train of thought with that. But what I meant to say is that so I'm gonna attempt something bold with this. Oh, well, I was talking about the animals. So a lot of times, so I get fancier and fancier, but it's by degrees, like in adding things that are part of the story. And so I was doing a delivery, and then I took a moment to put my outfit together, and it was taking me longer to put it together. And I did that other video where I was saying that it takes a ladies' man longer to get dressed than a man. It takes a lady longer to get dressed than a ladies' man, and also make up her mind ordering something on a date. It takes the ladies' man longer to get undressed than the lady. The lady actually likes the man's man more than any of them, but the regular man will last longer than any of them. So I just go on like that. But sometimes it takes me longer and longer just to put my outfits together, even like when I'm adjusting it, like when I'm working. And this as I did so, I was like a little bit taking like my sweet time, and like not sweet time, but I was just taking my time doing it, and like getting a little bit fancy. And like this bird started like it started this bird made just like a quick sound like while I was doing, and I had like put some gloves on a car, and then that bird made a sound like that, and then maybe like 5 or 10 seconds later, I end up touching that glove and dropping it on the ground. So with me being as fancy, I had to yet bend over and lean over and look a little bit like less fancy by leaning over to pick up the glove. And if you look at the influence of that bird chirping like that and the timing of it, it's almost as though the bird knocked the glove on the ground, and to keep me humble. And I actually think that that's a lot of what animals are doing, is that animals are balancing things on a deep level, way deeper than we can normally appreciate. Is a little bit where I wanted to go with this. Another example is that that was this morning, and then so these videos on YouTube, I'm doing it on my phone, and the phone is very finicky. Where when I complete the video, it takes about another 1 or 2 minutes to upload. But once it's uploaded, then it's uploaded, and you can't lose it as quickly. So what I was doing before is I was like trying to enter like the to like some of the parameters of the video with the phone, but in doing so, it's so finicky that it can just instantly delete exactly what you did. So what I'll do is I'll wait for like a minute or two for it to complete the upload, and then do anything I have to do so it won't get deleted. So I was doing that just now, and I let about a minute go by. Then I go with the parameters, and a dog barks outside, and then just by that dog barking, I ever so slightly move my hand differently by being distracted by that, because a lot of times we don't appreciate how our mind, our subconscious mind and our conscious mind, is informing our perception of a moment, and not the least of which our motor control. So even if you're focusing on something and a distraction goes off, and you are aware that a distraction goes off, and you do not want to let it distract you, your subconscious mind was also distracted, and is a little bit more, is actually appreciating that influence with and without your conscious attention. And so when you do something, all the things we do are a combination of conscious and unconscious, according to Arthur Avalon. There's nothing entirely conscious or unconscious, nor would light reality be viable if it were so, according to Arthur Avalon. Um, but um, uh, but um, but so even though you stay focused, and you make an intention not to get distracted, the subconscious mind was still distracted. So you can still make a ever so slight mistake that you weren't intending to, though you were intending not to make the mistake. And so you end up deleting something like that. But this one had already uploaded, but that dog would have just made me delete something. And that's actually some of the influence I think that animals are having on us, that the influence that we may go unnoticed, but I think it serves a deep purpose when animals are exerting influence like that.